Hello and welcome to Two Indoor Gaming, and today we're looking at R29. Yes, we have another update for Creativerse. They're coming out regularly as the devs have promised, and this one is probably one I'm most excited about for quite a while because there's been some significant help for the multiplayer worlds, which I'm getting into more and more. The big thing that helps with these multi-worlds is having claiming, where you can claim a 64 by 64 block space where nobody else can affect it unless you give them permission to, which is great for protecting you from those griefers that are out there. Now, anything else in the world is unprotected, so people can still make a mess of the landscape if they want, but that's something for another day. I guess this is still a significant step forward. It is only workable for new worlds, however, so let's get started. To Andoria. What a lovely name. And we'll put in a password. Always put in a password, kiddies. Protect your builds. That's not really necessary. Now, advanced options. The thing with claims enabled is that it is by default checked. You'll see there. You shouldn't really want to turn it off, I don't think, because if you're just playing single player, you don't have to claim something to build. It is a protection mechanism, not a sort of lock you out until you claim something provision. So if you're single player or you trust implicitly everybody else on your server, you can still leave it there, just nobody claims anything anywhere. So, your choice, but it does come up there. Remember, everyone defaults to visitor for your safety. PvP, your choice. Explosives, your choice. Now, I always like to mention this, peaceful mode recipes don't carry over. Both of them have creation only, and a lot of people get fooled with that, thinking, oh, that means it's a creative version, but no, there's only survival mode in Creativerse. All that means by creation only is you can only change these options at the creation of the world. You can't change it later. You can change these things, but not these two. Once you've set that for your world, that's it. You're locked in for good. So we'll confirm there, confirm again. Now, the thing that pairs with the claims, obviously, how can you tell where your claim is? Well, that's where a map is extremely handy, and so the devs have incorporated a map into this update. And there's a nice new little icon that should appear when you first log into your world, or next time you play the game. Down next to your little paper doll man that shows you where your armor is, there's the icon for the map, and the M is your shortcut key to get to the map. So see it here. Also, you discovered a new area, and that affects when something's been added to your map. So press the M, and here we go. Just a simple top-down, like satellite view of the land. Here's your 64 by 64 squares here. So in your standard view, you got 5 by 5s, 25 of those plots. You will spawn in a random location. That has changed as well with this update. It used to be when wherever was the spawn for everybody. And now it's a random location that promised it will always be a safe zone, a forest or a grassland, somewhere where you won't be immediately attacked by rampant mobs. It'll be a safe zone. So you've got this map, you'll see got the main features, very obvious. If there's anything under the trees you can't see it, that is one thing. If you want to shield what you're doing from the map, you can hide it under trees. But if I was to build a road, a nice straight road here, you'd see that. Your builds do appear on this map. It is a dynamic map. It's so dynamic, in fact. You see these little yellow splodges? It might be hard to make out. They're not static. That is because they're pigsies. So you get to see the mobs on there. And other players jumping around doing their thing. Very nice feature. It's obviously going to make navigating so much simpler, especially as you can zoom out So even if you travel a really long way, you'll be able to see where you are in relation to where you were. So that will pop up very helpfully for you. This as well is good to note. I have heard people claim that these worlds are generated randomly, or they assume they're generated randomly and that they're infinite, like in Minecraft, but they aren't either of those things. As I understand it, there's 4 or 5 standard maps. Sorry, when you generate a world, you will get one of those maps. And they are definitely finite, and this is actually showing you the limitations of the world. I've gone to the edge before, and I found I was in the water, and I hit a wall. Basically, the water looked like it was flying off the side, but don't worry, flat earthers, you will not fall off. It sort of just blocks you. So you turn around and go back, or you can find the other edges as you go. So you will hit a wall, but don't worry. Remember, that little square was 5 plots by 5 plots. That's 25 plots. Can you imagine how many? I'm not going to even try and calculate it. There are. You're not going to run out of space anytime soon. So I think eventually they'll probably get around to random generating spawns and maybe larger maps. But at this point, there's more than enough to work with. Now, this is the claim screen at the same time. So when you press your map, whether you're in small mode or bigger mode, you'll notice up here we've got get more claims. You have to earn your claims. You don't get your first claim automatically. You've really got to prove that you know what you're doing, or you've earned your place on the map with the basic, the minimum really. And you'll see when you click on that, it will tell you what it will take you to claim one of these squares. And first up, there's obviously a pay for claim feature coming soon. Income generating, I don't mind it because you can work for it. Mind you, it scales up very quick. First claim, 20 coal. So obviously to get that, you're going to have to get your extractors, which means you're going to have to get your processor. So you already have your wood mining cells. So you've got your basic set. To claim any space, you're going to have to get your basic set. You can click unlock. I'll show you what that looks like. You see here you get these little flags. You can claim it, pay for it, whichever way you want to do it. You don't have to be in the square you're claiming. I think you do have to be able to see it, mind you. So they don't have to be adjacent or anything. You can click over here and there and have a bunch scattered around the joint. And people might say, well, whoa, there's a lot of griefing possibilities. True. Somebody could really mess people up by claiming one here and one here and one here and there and taking out that whole zone for continuous claims. But the fact is this first plot costs me 20 coal, and you actually give up that coal when you claim. The next claim will cost me 40 obsidian bars, not the ore, but the bars. So you'll have to harvest 40 ore and smelt it, and then you'll give it up. So that's a bit further into the game. So at this point you've sunk in an hour, 2 hours, perhaps, for the average player. If you want a third one, if you're really stretching for your griefing, you'll need 80 iron bars. Now that's some time invested, and that is a really dedicated griefer. And as I understand griefers, most of them just aren't that dedicated. They want some quick havoc, have a laugh, and move on, whatever goes on in their sick little minds. So that's maps and claiming. Bang, straight away, 2 massive changes that are going to make a big difference for multiplayer worlds. Unfortunately, only the new ones. So if you've got something established, you're going to have to make that call. Do you persevere with what you've got, or do you start afresh so that you can have that new layer of protections? If you've got a stable and static membership for your multiplayer world, you're probably not going to bother, especially if you've sunk some serious hours and made some impressive builds. But if you're still fresh, or you want to try it new, then definitely this is going to improve your gameplay and your excitement a lot. And I think those features have a real chance of bringing back some players who enjoy multiplayer but just hated the griefing. They don't have enough sort of friends who play the game to multiplay safely, and the griefing just put them off multiplaying with strangers. So that could bring some players back, and if that's what you're looking for, come on down and check it out. Another thing with the new generation, and only new generation, is they've improved the ore distribution. Now, I've had a bit of a play around, and from what I can tell, there does seem to be more iron, and that's the ore that I was most caring about, because quite frankly, you could be swimming in diamonds, certainly if you, without even using the diamond generating frost bomb on the coal node bizzo, just mining, looking for iron, I'd find 3 times as much diamond. So I haven't got to the diamond level yet, but certainly I did seem to have more luck finding iron. That could have just been a fluke, could have been a lucky patch, but hopefully it is a sign of real changes. But they've promised they've made some changes to the ore distribution. I certainly wouldn't think it would be less ore or harder to find ore, considering how it was beforehand. But again, only newly generated worlds, because it is a function of the generation of the environment. So your standard maps, you're still going to have to struggle along the ones you've already established and get it bit by bit, just like before. There's some new chat features, obviously again, only helpful for multiplayer unless you enjoy talking to yourself. But I'm not sure how well the whisper feature would go with you talking to yourself and replying to yourself, but those are some of the functions. You can create a party, so good for larger scale servers, so you can talk privately rather than broadcasting your conversation, and you can even create a party which will last until you either leave it or leave the world. So that's good. An important multiplayer feature. I'm not sure how much it might get used now, but certainly into the future, very handy. I'm just gathering a few things here so that I can skip ahead and show you what it's like to claim with coal, and it's very handy. I see some there in the wall that will be helpful for me. You will get world messages. That's another thing, broadcasts of things that you have done. So if I go in and I craft myself a wood mining cell, you'll see where the chat appears normally is now a message, system message. Tuandor crafted a wood mining cell. Everybody can rejoice in my crafting prowess with that broadcast out there, and that pops up for a lot of these builds. Every time I build a super extractor, it seems to pop up, which is quite annoying considering how many you need. I think this will get nerfed because it really does get overwhelming when you're playing with even one other person. It comes up for taming, for crafting, for killing animals. Not always after the first time, but sometimes. I've had it pop up multiple times for killing Mirus. So let's say I've done it, killed them, and it'll pop up. Also for death when you die, when you claim your death statue, or somebody claims your death statue, it pops up again. I don't think I've seen it for claiming, but it's possible, because normally I'm actually in the claim screen when I do it. So that'll be interesting to spot. Another massive change is the touchstone. I mean, it's a big change in the way the game plays out, not necessarily, it may not affect how you play all that much, but you'll notice when I put down the touchstone, it disappeared out of my quick bar, and it is not in my inventory. So it's fully placeable, like any other block. That means I can pick it up. Obviously, only I and an admin or whatever can affect it. Somebody can't just walk along and scoop it, and even when an admin does it, it returns to my inventory, not theirs. But so I can put it down. If I don't like it in this spot, I can pick it up again, place it over here. It's all happy. If though I've gone a long way away and my legs are too tired to run back, or I'm worried about losing where I want my new setup to be, rather than having to mark it somehow and go back and get it, all I have to do is press the T like I'm going to teleport to it, but press this new button down the bottom here, reclaim. That will put it back into my inventory, as you see. And so now when I exit that, it's back there and I can place it in the new spot. This is obviously going to make an improvement on accidental placings of the touchstone as you're scrolling through your quick bar and you're going for a mushroom and accidentally overshoot and instead place your touchstone and lose your house, even though that's going to be harder with the map function, obviously. But still, you won't have to worry about that so much. Though, now you do have to worry about accidentally hitting reclaim instead of teleport, because it would cause exactly the same issue. But once again, with the map feature, less of a problem as it has been in the past. Apart from that, bug fixes, improving the terrain generation, the artificial intelligence for the mobs, which for some reason haven't really spawned here. Oh, well, there's one leafy down there. Just a little light on, but they apparently get stuck less often and are just a bit smarter in their chase protocols, stuff like that. You'll see how that plays out. The swimming exploit on hitting them still is true. They don't cross water, they won't attack you while you're sitting in water. I assume the latter one is still the same because it's just a play on the same function or feature. So that's still the case. You can still run around them and hit them. So it's not that their combat's any harder, it's just, I guess, less glitchy. They get stuck less often. Blueprints, you can no longer track the ingredients for them, and the AI for it, not the AI, sorry, the UI, the user interface is slightly different to reflect that. You can no longer click the track button, for instance, but everything else is the same. I played around with it, still swap the blocks, they still place them the same way, but apparently when you complete one, which I haven't done because the update's only come out today, there's something different, like some new sound or animation or something when you complete it. So yeah, apart from that, bug fixes like improved loot table for the Rockzilla, the boss hogs now have a proper rally call, whatever that is, because I've never seen them do anything like that. It was obviously so broken that I've never seen it, so I'll have to venture into the savannah and find out exactly what that looks like. Force bombs now work, not that I've ever used them. User interface problems with the shelf and the weapon rack apparently are fixed. And some other typos and tutorial tip fixes, and fences no longer attached to your chairs and your beds and your tables, which would be annoying. I've never seen it, but I'm sure it would be extremely annoying. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to collect for myself 20 coal. I'll come back right after this flip, and we'll show you what claiming looks like. Right, well, that was surprisingly easy, because I can hit the jackpot with this particular place that I spawned in. First place I could spot coal just sitting in the wall, and then when I dug around I managed to find 6 whole nodes of it, giving me more than enough to set a claim on this spot. And because it is a lucky claim, oh look, there's even another one hiding down there, I will definitely claim exactly where I'm standing. That'll be a great thing. Okay, so we have, as you see, 36 coal. So I'll go map, get a claim, unlock. What did it do there? I think that's because where I was pointing. Okay, that's something obviously you're going to have to be very careful of. You might have to, yeah, click on the square first. And then try and claim it rather than get more claims. Okay, lesson learned even for me. So I have claimed the space directly north. So if we travel there, you'll notice when I get closer, ooh, there's a boundary. Oh, so it's not there permanently. See, it's just when you're within a few squares, it'll come up, and then boom, you get a message. Welcome to Two Indoors Zone. Isn't that nice? named it, and given a welcome message. If I want to change that, go back to map, click on my zone. You'll see we've got 3 buttons. I can manage players, so if other people, I can give them permissions. The other settings, so I can give it a name and call it the green zone or something boring. What was that zone from Superman 2? No, I can't remember. Too long ago. I don't know. I was probably 7 when that came out. Anyway, so you can call it whatever you want. Call it Bob. Give a welcome message. Oh, looks like I'm under attack. Oh, isn't that nice? It jumped me out while I was distracted. That's a nice feature. Good work, devs. Oh, why am I not... I'm stuck. It didn't jump me out. It's gone all glitchy. Good to know. There we are, and now we're free. Okay, so beware. When you're in your map, you might get glitched out. Glitch central there. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, change the settings. Like I said, change that. Go boo. Your default role. So visited simply means when they're in there, they can't affect anything. You can set that to any level. So they can even disappear it. They can build on it, or they can open doors and other stuff. Interact only. You can fight in there, make a fight zone, or not. Turn it off, and turn on or off TNT. So, that's it for claiming. And of course, you can always unclaim it if you make a mistake like I did. But close enough is good enough. So now, if I hop out and hop back in, it says boo. Right, so there we go. That is R29. I'm excited. I hope you are too. I hope to see some people coming back to the game, and I hope the devs keep listening and keep adding new stuff. Let's have some whole new block sets and more stairs and doors and stuff. That'd be awesome too. Yeah, enjoy your time in Creativerse, and I'll catch you next time.